Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to another Burlingame. It's a small-town podcast sponsored by the Burlingame Historical Society. This is Mark Lucchese, also known as Mark at the Mic, and my guests today are two-thirds of a local entertainment and musical family, Maryann and Chris Sfarzo. Not with us today is Maryann's husband, Ron. Maryann, Chris, and Ron perform at Cafe Trieste in North Beach, San Francisco, the first Saturday of each month. Maryann is a singer, voice-over talent, and an actress. Besides performing at Cafe Trieste, she and Ron perform in their cabaret show, The Taylor Street Shop, at various private events. She is the composer of I Do, the first song written to celebrate same-sex marriages, and In a Child's Eyes to help find missing children. Chris is a percussionist, composer, cook enthusiast, and you can find and follow Chris, known as Grocery Cook, on Instagram with his recipes and food pics of the week. And now my conversation with Maryann and Chris Sfarzo. Maryann and Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank
We're
you,
so
Mark.
happy to be here.
Happy to be here, too.
You bet. I have a little fun fact, if you don't mind.
Sure.
You may not recall, or Maryann, you may recall. I don't know if Chris, you will, but years ago when I was at Petrini, at Molly Stone's, just around the block here, you guys were over at the piano store. And I worked out a little deal where you guys were kind enough to ship a piano over to the store. And it was during the Academy Award week in February. I guess that's when the awards are, February, March.
Yeah, somewhere around there, I think, yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And Ron would actually have it shipped, no charge, didn't have to pay a thing. We have a beautiful piano over there. I got a fellow by the name of Jack Sweeney to come down from Hillsboro, and he would sing for the week Academy Award-winning hits, right?
Yeah.
And you would be down there. You would sit there and talk to people. And I think we sold a piano during that time.
I believe so. Yes,
Right.
I think so.
Right. And we used to have some cutouts, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
We had the cutout of John Wayne.
Yeah.
But the young people that came in didn't quite know who John Wayne was.
I didn't know who John Wayne was, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've always, that was probably the early 2000s, I think, something
I think
like
so,
that.
somewhere around
And
that
I think we
time,
did it
yeah.
for 2 or 3 years, and,
Yeah.
and maybe Jack passed on after that. I'm not sure, but that was one of the craziest promos I ever did. And it was just not selling anything. It was selling a piano for you guys if we could, which I think we did. But it was just having fun, right?
It was having fun, and I think it was fun for the people that came in to shop for their groceries.
Yeah,
and,
to come on, you don't see that anywhere else,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So
Yeah.
anyway, okay. Maryann, this question is for you. How long have you and Ron been doing, well, first of all, how long have you and Ron been married?
We've been married 55 years.
55?
I know.
You're 3 up on Kathy and myself. In February, we'll have 52. Congratulations.
Thank you. I always say we were too young to know any better.
Yes. Isn't that the truth? Boy, I tell you.
We just did it.
So have you always done the singing thing with Ron? I mean, is that how you met? Was through singing and acting and things like that?
We actually met through music, yes, because Ron was playing the accordion quite a bit. He comes from a very traditional Italian family, and his father played mandolin and guitar. And his family was very close friends with the Andrini brothers that performed all over Vegas. They were wonderful back in the day when Vegas and those clubs would have live music. And so he played the accordion with them. And what happened, he was quite young. He was only 17, 18 years old. And coming back from one of the tours that he was on, he was in an auto accident. And so he had been injured and was recovering and took a gig for my cousin's wedding. And I, being the cousin that would sing, was going to sing at the wedding. So that's how I met him.
Really?
Yes.
And you
that's how we
started
met.
dating after that? And
After
one thing led to another?
led to another. And I was one of singers, that because he accompanied singers, and he'd been in the business for years. So that's how we met. Did I sing with him as I do today and professionally in that way? It took quite a few years for that to happen because he was traveling in the business himself. And then I was home and then had Chris and was working.
Yeah.
So I would do parties here and there, little things. They'd say, bring your wife in and she'll sing a song. And
Right.
so I was doing that. But then at some point, he worked for Baldwin Piano Company. And he was traveling with them, and I sang at one of their cocktail parties, and the president of the company, Gary Grimes, who was a friend of ours, liked what I did, and he said, I'd like to hire you to perform at the National Music Convention in Chicago. And I said, okay, is that okay with you, Ron? And he said, yes. And that was the start of it.
Was that a paying gig or what?
That was a paying gig.
Jeez.
And I did some voiceover and did a little acting. We did a whole skit on D.H. Baldwin.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Can I ask you a couple of questions about voiceover? Or just tell me a little bit about voiceover. What is voiceover?
Oh, I love voiceover because it doesn't matter what you look like. It's your voice that counts.
Right.
Voiceover is the voice you hear on an advertisement or in answering a telephone messaging. Is voiceover. It's the announcer, what you did today when you're announcing your podcast.
Right.
I would do auditions for those. I do those for other people.
Are you still doing that?
Yes.
And do you do that in the city or down here in the Bay Area?
I actually do it
peninsula?
from my home. I have a little studio at home, and so I use GarageBand is the equipment I use.
That's what I'm using. That's what we're using here today, GarageBand.
Yeah, that's what I do. So I audition and it's not like when you're working at a big studio, because we record music and all of that. So that's in a big studio that has a lot of more sophisticated equipment.
Of course.
So with GarageBand, you're able to do that and deliver it. And if they like what you do, then that's how you do it. So,
Wow, that is. And are you still? You mentioned. I mentioned in the intro you were an actress as well. Is that still going on at all?
Yes. I decided years ago. I'm going to say about 25 years ago. I had a vertigo attack, and it was so bad, and I was laying in bed and thinking, "Please, Lord, let me come out of this." And when I was watching television, I thought, you know what? I think I could do what those people do, commercials, when they were doing commercials. And so when I got better, I said, I'm going to do that. And I went and got an agent. I've gone through 2 other agents. The agent I have now, I've had for about 20 years. And so I started, doing auditions for on-camera work, print work. I'm still doing it today.
How cool is that? Good for you.
Yes, I love it.
In addition to all the other stuff you and Ron and Chris do around
Just
here.
a few things.
Terrific. One more question for you before I head over here to Chris for a minute. In the intro, I mentioned that you wrote a song titled I Do.
That's right.
And they're going to fact check me on this, Maryann, but it was the first song to celebrate same-sex marriages. Is that correct?
That's correct.
How do you know it was the first song?
Well, we did some investigating, and Mary Ellen Geist was a announcer. She was from KGO Radio, and she got a hold of it, heard about it, and we talked with her, and she did some investigating on it as well. And we thought, there's not another song out there that really celebrates same-sex marriage. I mean, there's comedians that do things, but I didn't want to do that. This is a serious commitment song.
Yeah.
And so that's how we pretty much said, I think we're number one in doing this. Yeah.
What motivated you? What was the inspiration for coming up with that?
Yeah, it was the couples being married in City Hall when the governor was doing that. He was marrying the couples.
80s, 80s?
It was 2000.
Oh, really?
We wrote the song in 2001.
And did you sing it as well as write it? Did you do the whole 9 yards?
The whole 9 yards. That's right. We went to New York and promoted it there in Central Park. They had a big wedding there, and we performed it for all of the couples there. And that song has traveled really all over. I mean, we get calls, we get people from England, whatever, found our song. We'd like to perform it for our wedding. It's really traveled around. It's
pretty cool. I'm going to come back to you in a minute, and we're going to talk about the song that you did for the missing children.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to get to your son for a second.
Sure.
He's chomping at the bit over there. Chris, how you doing? A lot of people don't realize you worked for me many years ago when we were Petrini Markets, right?
That's right. That was one of my first jobs.
But you also worked for Molly Stone's for a while.
Yeah,
But did you work directly with me? I can't remember anymore.
Palo Alto.
In Palo Alto.
For years.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And I transferred to San Mateo for a while.
That's right. Yeah, we had some good times, right?
Yeah.
Especially at Petrini's. All right.
Oh yeah, Petrini's were fun
Yeah.
times.
All right, dude. You have a passion for cooking and finding new items and sharing that with everybody on Instagram, right?
Yeah, right.
So what brought all that on? Just your time in grocery or
Well,
what?
working in grocery over the years, I've always had a thing for supermarkets and shopping. And my grandfather actually was her father, my mom's father, was in the produce business. So he'd been in the business for years. I never knew him. He died before I was born.
Was that here in the Bay Area, San Francisco?
Where was it?
Okay.
San Francisco. He had the
San Francisco market.
Yeah.
San Francisco market, yeah. And he had his own produce truck, and he used to drive around. Didn't he deliver to houses and stuff?
Yeah, well, he was a peddler to begin with.
Wow, that goes back, huh?
Way back in the
So,
40s.
yes.
Yeah, right. So there's always been a thing with me with grocery, I guess. I worked in grocery. I liked it. And I
Right.
love shopping. I just like shopping and telling people about new items. To me, a grocery store to me is like a kid in a candy store. You know, I'd rather go look for items, and
Well,
it excites
we
me.
see that.
It really excites me to go shopping. That's what I love to do when I get in.
know. And you shop right here on the peninsula pretty much,
Yeah,
right?
pretty much. I mean, I can go into probably in a month, maybe 5, 6, 7 different stores.
Yeah. Do you have a set schedule every week? Like I'm going to go to Costco this week. I'll go to Molly Stone's, Piazza's, and Hardee's. You just
I
kinda
don't
move
really.
around?
It's kind of just random. It's,
It is.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'll wake up Monday and go. I need something today.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Molly's today because I happen to be in that area, and Molly's
Yeah.
got stuff I like too. So if I know I want to get that thing I like over there, I'm gonna go buy it.
And do you do most of the cooking at home? Because I see you always whipping something
I do some
up.
stuff. She cooks a lot. My dad cooks
Yeah.
too, but
Great. So you kind of move it around.
But I've been cooking since I really got into it with the pandemic. When the pandemic came, I was home, couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So I said, what am I going to do when I'm home? Well, I'm going to cook. I went online and I followed chefs. There's a chef called Pasquale on Facebook. I follow him. He's cooking all these recipes. I said,
Right.
you know what? I'm going to start cooking.
And a lot of those recipes are pretty simple.
Yeah, they're not too...
3, 4, 5 ingredients, right?
Not
They're
too
not
bad.
real
Not too
complicated,
hard to make,
which is
no.
great. Yeah.
So it's fun.
Okay, I'm going to come back to you in a minute. I'm going back to Mom for a
Sure,
second
go
because I
ahead.
want to find out about the song that you did for the missing children, right? Which is called what? In a Child's Eyes?
In a Child's Eyes. And, all of the songs that we create, that we compose, there's always an inspiration to do it. There's something that triggers that say, why do you want to do this? I write lyrics. Ron writes the music. Christopher also has written songs with us, including with the lyrics. But In a Child's Eyes was really inspired by the finding of Elizabeth Smart. If we
That was the young lady that was Utah, Colorado?
Utah.
Right.
And she had her face covered, but only her eyes were seen. And when they found her, somebody, I believe, had found her and said, I kept looking at that girl's eyes. It just didn't seem right. She didn't seem comfortable with these people because they had her out and about.
Yeah.
And she was really close to home, actually.
But she was covered?
Her face was covered except for her eyes. Yeah.
And she was the one that was kidnapped for quite a few years, wasn't she?
Yeah, they had her, and she wasn't far from her house.
Amazing.
She was close. So that inspired me to
Yeah.
say, if you're looking at the eyes of a child or anyone who's really frightened or has something on their mind, your eyes tell it all.
Yeah.
It really tells it all. So that's what inspired me to write In a Child's Eyes. After we wrote the song, we tried to get it to the Missing Children's Foundations. Very hard to get any of your music anywhere, to be honest with you. It's very tight family knit group.
Mm-hmm.
But I did get through to the Department of Missing Children out of Washington, D.C., and they asked if we would come and perform the song for the National Missing Children's Day. And we did that. Christopher, Ron, and I went to Washington, D.C. to perform it on National Missing Children's Day.
What year was that?
And, the song was written in 2005, so it was 2005, yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Around there.
Is that can somebody find that on YouTube, or is that how would I want it? If I wanted to see that, am I going to find it?
I don't know that you'd see
That is
the
amazing.
Well, the
yeah.
song is available.
The song is available,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
on a couple of sites. A couple of sites came and said, we want your song on our sites.
Yeah.
But those are separate. That's not part of the National Missing Children's. But we were very proud of that. Yeah, in fact, there's a photograph in, I guess, the office of the National Missing
How
Children.
cool is that? Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
To all of
Yeah,
you.
the song's used on certain. There's a missing children's YouTube page, and they used her song. Remember?
Yeah, they did.
They show missing children, and they use the song. So,
How cool is that? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you guys perform together, right, in North Beach at Cafe Trieste. Is that right?
We
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Is there challenges of a family performing together? I mean, who's in charge? Is Ron in charge?
Ron's
Maryann?
in
Yeah.
charge.
Ron's in charge.
Dad's definitely in charge.
Right. And you do the singing, Maryann?
I do. I'm one of several singers, but I'm one of the name singers that people come to see.
Right.
Because I'm part of that North Beach group. Yes.
Do you sing, Chris?
No,
No. You're the percussionist in this?
percussionist. Yeah,
Playing bongos or drums?
yeah, bongos. I used to play the cajon once in a while, but now I'm playing the bongos mainly now.
Right. And then, Maryann, are you playing an instrument as well?
No.
Okay, so Ron's playing the instrument.
He's the
Is there,
accordion.
is there anybody else in the band besides you guys?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So when do you rehearse, or do you rehearse?
We
You don't
don't.
have to rehearse anymore, right?
We don't have to rehearse.
That
Right.
one we don't know.
And are you playing the same songs basically every once a month on do you change the playlist at all? Is it the same stuff?
Well,
Sometimes they change
the
it.
playlist is changed depending on the audience. I put it that way. Cafe Trieste has been always known for opera singers and very traditional Italian music. Papa Johnny was the owner. He's passed away. Mama is still living. She's 100 years old, but
Wow.
she doesn't come in any longer.
Yeah.
John Franco, who was their son, who has also passed away, he and I would do duets together. We went for many years. It used to be every Saturday they would have this music. And then the only one left is their sister, Sonia. And Sonia will come in and she can sing those Italian songs, which is really nice.
And when you say Italian songs, they're in Italian.
In
right?
Italian,
Okay.
in Italian. I sing Anima Cuore. I don't know if you know the song Anima Cuore. You know, my life I give for you, Anima Cuore.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
Anima Cuore is the only part of the Italian that I
Yeah,
sing in the song,
right.
you know, because I don't sing in Italian. I don't do the Italian lyrics, let's put
Right.
it that way. But Sonia can do that. And I always encourage her to do that because that's tradition for the Cafe Trieste.
Yeah.
Now, his grandfather, my father-in-law, Nicola, was blind. He became blind at 28 from an accident.
boy.
But he played mandolin and guitar, and he played at the Cafe Trieste, I don't know, since 1957 when they opened up. So we're family friends
Yeah.
of many, many years.
Your roots go deep. with
Very
that.
deep.
Yeah.
So I have to tell you one little quick story with
Please.
Ron and the accordion, because he said to me one day, I don't want to play the accordion anymore. I'm sick of playing the accordion. My mother and father made me play it for every party and everywhere we went.
Yeah.
And I said, but you play it so beautifully, you can't stop. The following week, he gets a call from Lucasfilms. They need an accordion piece in a movie, and he was asked to do it.
You're kidding.
No, and he's done several since with different movies.
Yeah,
How'd they-
video games and movies. He's done.
How'd they know about Ron?
They
I
knew
just-
Ron. Ron's one of the #1 accordionists in San Francisco, and part of the union. He's with
Yeah,
the
with the
Musicians
union,
Union. So through the union, and so he's continued to play that accordion, and he plays it beautifully at the Cafe Trieste.
So what kind of age group attends the Cafe Trieste when you guys are there on
know,
that particular evening?
Yeah, that's
all
what do you think,
ages.
Chris?
or-
All ages, huh?
Kind of varies. You get older people, you get younger people. It varies depending on
yeah.
who's in town and they want to drop by and just
Right.
check out the show. You know.
So, dumb question. Sorry, because I've never been to Cafe Trieste. I've heard of it. We sold their coffee at Molly Stone's, I
Yeah.
think,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Petrini's too, probably, I guess.
Yeah.
Is it a bar or is it just a coffee house or what?
Coffee house, the oldest espresso coffee house.
So no
in
alcohol.
San Francisco.
No
No.
alcohol.
Oh
I
wait,
think they have beer.
Yeah,
Beer
they
and
do. They
wine.
do have beer and
Beer
wine.
Okay.
and wine.
Okay,
You
great.
could have beer or wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's basically you just come in and sit and listen. You're not dancing or anything
No,
like that.
it's very small, very tight.
Right.
Yeah.
Parking difficult? Is parking a hassle?
Yeah.
It's always.
It's a challenge, right?
It's a
Gotta get a
challenge.
garage. If you
yeah.
don't get street, you got to go in the garage.
Yeah.
And you gotta,
Well, we'll move on from that.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Mariann, you mentioned your father, Nicolo?
That was my father-in-law.
Father-in-law,
Ron's
Ron's
father.
dad.
Nicola,
Ron's
yeah.
dad.
Oh, Nicola. Thank you.
Nicola.
Guitar strings, something like that, Chris? Help me with that.
Oh, well, my my cousin owns Sfarzo String Company for years. He's had it since the early 80s. And he makes strings in Santa Rosa. So he owns Black Diamond and Sfarzo Strings. And he created Nicola Strings with my dad and I did to honor our grandfather.
Right. And these are guitar strings or what? When
yeah,
you
guitar
say-
strings. Yeah. Acoustic guitar strings.
Acoustic guitar
And
strings.
so we make all those. So he makes them up there. And everything's produced out of Santa Rosa.
Out of his house, or does he have a little
No,
shop
he's
someplace?
got a factory up there.
Right.
He owns a factory, yeah.
And then you help him, or what? You help sell them?
I help sell them, yeah.
Are they also online?
Yeah, NicolaStrings.com is the website. You
Yeah.
can check it out. People
How
can check
cool
it
is
out.
that, huh?
So it's good. It's great to
Keeps the
honor
name going
Yeah.
on.
And it's great to honor my grandfather, yeah.
Preserves that
to do that.
legacy, I guess. Legacy is
legacy,
the word
yeah.
I was
That's
looking
right.
for.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Maryann and Chris. Maryann, in my intro, I said Taylor Street Shop, but it's Stop.
It's Stop.
Right. So, listeners, it's Stop. Taylor Street Stop. But it's cabaret show, right?
It's a cabaret show.
Okay, what's a cabaret show versus another kind of show? What do you mean by that?
Well, a cabaret show gives you a variety of music and performers, in a sense. You know, if you think back at the Ed Sullivan Show,
Yeah.
that was like cabaret.
Really?
You know, he brought a comedian on, and he brought a singer on, and he brought a dancer on, and it develops this wonderful show that you enjoy. So when we're doing cabaret, you've got Ron on piano, does some great stuff. Chris on the bongos and the drums, and you've got David Sturdivant, who's from the North Beach Band. That's at Cafe Trieste. Plays a great harmonica.
Yeah.
So you'll have him doing that. So cabaret means a variety. It's a variety of music. And we do the All-American Songbook is what we do. So when I come on, I do my thing. Ron does a little bit of what he does. So it could be jazz. It could be the blues. It could be show tunes.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of everything.
So where did the Taylor Street Stop title come from?
Well, it came from me because I said, what do we name our group? You know, it could be Ron Sfarzo and Friends. It could be, which we do use sometimes
Right.
too. But most of our musicians are from the local Bay Area.
Yeah.
I'm born and raised in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So is Ron. And Taylor Street is an area of the city that
I know
always
there's
liked.
a Taylor Street, but there wasn't
Yeah.
a club that you guys played at,
No,
right? It's just
no,
something that sounded
no.
good.
Sounded good, and
Wow.
I thought, why not?
Yeah.
We're the Taylor Streets. We're
Yeah.
San Francisco people. Yeah.
All right. So what's the challenges for you guys as a family getting together and playing music? I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of rewards, but Ron is like the dictator. What he says goes, or can you have a little feedback going back and forth? Or how's that work out?
I mean, you try and get feedback, but he's in charge when you...
Yeah.
it's
the buck
tough.
stops with Ron. Is that what we're saying here?
He's very good at what he does.
He's very
Yeah.
well. He's like he's
Yeah.
he's in charge,
He's
like
an
like an
arranger.
arranger. So when whatever he says, you got to
Yeah.
follow.
Yeah,
But his dad was like that with him. So
Yes.
my grandfather was pretty strict about this is how it goes, and it's the way you play it. And
Yeah.
it's the way you do it. So
And I think for Chris and I both, I'm going to say for Chris, we've learned a lot through Ron.
yeah,
We've gotten better because of him.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
you want to be better.
And I can see that because actually quite a few years ago, Chris helped me buy my second set of drums, my second drum kit from your uncle in
yeah.
San Mateo.
My uncle who ran the drum store and
The drum
Drum World, yeah.
Drum
right,
World.
Drum World, right.
Yeah.
And you helped me set it up in my garage,
That's
the
right.
Mark Lucchese Garage Band and all that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, I do
stuff, and we had
remember
a
that.
kick.
Yeah.
Where did you learn how to play drums so well?
Well, I started when she said I had rhythm since I was 2 or 3 years old. I was banging on pots and pans, so
Yeah.
I always had a rhythm. And my family was a lot of drummers in our family. My cousin plays drums. My uncle played drums. Both my uncles.
My brother was
her
a
brother was a
drummer.
drummer.
Yeah, it's in the
My dad's-
genes, isn't it?
Yeah, we had a lot of drummers in the family, so I started playing, and I took
Yeah.
lessons when I was about 8 or 9 from my uncle's. When he had the drum store in San Francisco, I used to go and get lessons from Bob Frediani, who was a real fine drummer
Yeah, great.
from the Bay Area. He's since passed away, but he was such a great drummer. And
Yeah.
he played with my uncle and my father and all these people. So he gave me lessons. I started playing, and I really liked it, and I just kept with it all these years. And
Next, are you still in a band?
I know,
or a band or two?
I'm not in a band right now, but I still write stuff with my friend who was the last bandmate I had, Mike. We still write songs together and
Right.
work together. But I was in a couple of bands for years.
And what about our old coworker, Robert
Oh
Alexander.
yeah, Robert Alexander. Yeah, him and
We-
I were songwriting buddies.
Right.
And we used to write songs together. And we wrote a song called "I Crossed the Bridge." I wrote it with her and Dad and Robert.
Okay. And what sort of, I guess the word is genre, would that be? Was it rock? Was it gospel? Was it
no,
jazz?
it was a contemporary rock song, just
Uh-huh.
a ballad, kind of a power ballad, I guess you can call it. And
Yeah.
it was what's the term I'm trying to say?
Well, it was inspired
by
American Idol.
American Idol, the
Yeah.
first season it was
Really?
on.
Okay, so
inspired to write it from
at the end of this conversation today, if I want to run home and listen to it, how am I going to find it?
it's on Apple Music, on YouTube, Spotify. It's all over the.
Give me the title again.
I've Crossed the Bridge.
I've Crossed the Bridge.
And if you go on YouTube and put "I've Crossed the Bridge," Chris Sfarzo, you'll see I did a Giants tribute video when they won the World Series in 2014.
Really?
I put the song to the video.
Oh, how
So
cool.
I did my own video, and it's out there.
Wow.
And I let people look at it. I put highlights of the season. And
Yeah.
Put the video.
Oh,
So
it's a
good.
great video. It's
Oh,
really
I
good.
bet.
Yeah.
And then my friend, we also have. I want to mention we record it at Soundtech Studios, and Robert Berry's the owner in San Jose. He played the bass and did some stuff. He arranged it, and he used to play with Keith Emerson from Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Oh, are you kidding?
And he played
Wow.
with Ambrosia for a while, and he's done a lot of things over the years. He's a good friend of the family's. My dad's known him since he was 17.
We do our main recordings with him
Yeah.
when we're doing our music recordings.
And he'll
we do.
he'll
In
produce a
San
lot.
Jose, though? I mean, is that what
Campbell,
you're saying? You have
Campbell.
Campbell. Yeah, so the
Sound-
recording
yeah.
studio down
Yeah,
there.
he produces everything, and
Soundtech.
cool
Soundtech
is that?
Studios.
so
yeah.
he's been good to us for all those years. Yeah.
Okay, so we've been talking about a lot of different things here, but one thing I want to bring up is that Chris and I went to the same high school together, Sarah High School, San Mateo.
Yeah.
And I think you're like about the 12th guest on this show that's gone to Sarah, Chris.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
When you were at Sarah, were you into music then? Were you
Yeah.
playing?
I was in the music. I played in the concert band, and then I played in the jazz band for a couple of years, 1 or 2 years.
You did. Was Mr. Catalano the musical director at
No,
that
at
time?
that time it was Mr. J. Jordan. Mr.
Okay.
Jordan was the.
And is that where you started drumming or what? Did you start taking drum lessons at Sarah?
No, I took lessons prior to that when I was younger.
Okay.
But then all through school, when I was in junior high, I wanted to play the drums, but they needed somebody to play the baritone, so I volunteered saying I can learn how to play the baritone. So I learned how to play the baritone, and I played trumpet for a while. So I never actually played the drums in junior high.
Really? Do you still play baritone or trumpet, or are you strictly
No, I
percussion?
mean I have a
now?
trumpet at home, but I never use it anymore.
Yeah.
So when I got to Sarah, I wanted to play the drums. That's what my main goal was. And Mr. Jordan says, "Oh, first day of class. Anybody here know how to play the baritone? We need a baritone." And, dummy me go, "I know how to play the baritone."
Right. No,
So
that's-
I played the baritone in the concert band for all 4 years.
4 years.
And then I finally got my junior or senior year, one of the two. I can't remember how many. I finally got in the jazz band. I told Mr. Jordan I played the drums. I want to be in the jazz band. They got me in the jazz band. So I was
Yeah.
able to play in the jazz rock band.
So you had been playing jazz then as a child on the drum? Because that's a tough,
Yeah,
jazz is hard to
I
play.
studied some
man.
jazz when I was younger.
It's a lot different than just playing the 4/4 beat, 2/4 beat.
No,
on,
it's very
on
hard.
rock and roll, right?
And when
yeah.
whenever I play with Dad, it's mostly jazz stuff. So you really got to learn
Yeah.
how to do swing beats and bossa novas and sambas, and you learn a lot from. A lot of times
Yeah.
I'll play a gig with Dad, and he'll have another drummer with him, and I'll help him set up, and he'll let me sit in.
Oh,
and then
that-
the other drummer, like our friend Eddie Margolin, will give me some pointers. Hey, play this and do that. And
Right.
So I'll sit in for a couple of songs, and so
So you guys are playing pretty regularly then? You and Ron are, I guess.
Yeah.
they're
right?
always
Yeah,
doing always doing stuff because they
Yeah.
they have a lot of solo gigs where they play weddings
Right.
and what do you play?
Well, we do private parties.
Mostly?
Mostly private parties. Now,
Yeah.
because of the venues, we haven't done the cabaret show.
Uh-huh.
Although we're looking for something,
Right.
because people keep asking us. And I said, okay. One of the things that we did start doing several years ago on New Year's Day, we started a New Year's Day gathering at our house with musicians who played the night before and would bring their instruments to the house. And it grew and grew and grew until the last one was just before the pandemic we had at our house. We had almost 100 people. And they heard music all afternoon because the musicians came and performed at our house.
That is crazy
Yeah.
fun. Wow.
It was a lot of fun. And Eric goes, "Are you doing that again?" I says, "No, we haven't done it."
You had about 100 people show up playing?
We did, in and out of our house and playing, and it's on YouTube. You'll see things on YouTube.
Yeah.
Some of the events at our house. Yeah,
That's like Kathy and I, the last cruise we took was a Dave Cause jazz cruise,
Oh
right?
yeah, Dave Cause, yeah.
And it was music all day long. instead of hanging by the pool, which you could do, but we just went from one little venue to another on the
Right.
ship, right? And
Yes.
listened to all these great people. And it was
Yeah.
just a lot of fun. Different than your normal cruise, right? But,
Yes.
you still have destination points where you get off and check out the town,
Right.
but come back and just...
How fun is
and,
that?
And the musicians would sit with you at the table
Yeah,
and BS
sure.
with you and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
I-
Well, Ron
Wow.
and I just came back from a trip to Amsterdam. We went on a river cruise.
Yes.
And the director found out that we were musicians.
Okay, start playing,
And
huh?
he said, "Would you do a little show for us because we're at a spot where we don't have anybody to come on the boat and do this,
Right.
But we do not want it as a talent night."
Yeah.
He did not want that at all. So we put together a 45-minute show.
Did they supply the instruments that you needed or what?
They had a keyboard on the ship.
How cool.
And Ron could work it. It was a
Right.
digital. And then we had a friend of ours who also is a musician, and he sang and I sang. And yeah, we did a 45-minute show.
Oh, man.
It was a lot of fun.
How could you turn that down, right? You can't turn that
Well,
down.
you make people happy.
Don't you?
I love my audience.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
And when you for me, when that first note comes out and you see the look on their face, that they like that.
Oh, they buy in, man. Then
It's
you
the
know you've
most
got them, right? And that
wonderful
just feels good.
Good
Yeah.
feeling. Yes.
Yeah. So, Chris, you not playing any rock and roll right now or anything? Nothing going on like that?
Not lately. I'm going to get back into it, I think, eventually.
Yeah.
Just kind of playing with them at the cafe for now. And
Right. The cafe, is that your really only live thing besides, private things
Yes,
going on?
right now it
You're not
is.
playing in any other clubs, in other
No.
words, right?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Cafe's a fun thing to do. It's from 1 to 4. It's only once a month.
Oh, 1 to 4. That's nice.
Yeah, well, it's in the afternoon. So it's
Perfect.
very nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anything going on because we're at that time of the
Oh,
year
I
now?
also forgot to mention, I did
Go
play.
ahead.
No, I should mention that I did play with it was an honor to play with Josephine, the mandolin orchestra, last
Oh,
year,
yeah.
a year or two ago. My grandfather used to play with the Aurora Mandolin Orchestra,
And where did you play?
and they needed a drummer for their dance.
Oh,
They were doing, so they had a dance in Foster City at the rec center.
Yeah.
But I played drums. It was nice. It was.
Yeah, he got hired
So I
to
got
do
hired.
that.
So that was nice. I honor my grandfather playing with that orchestra.
What kind of music was that?
There was a lot of Italian stuff. Italian,
you could
well,
just-
not just Italian, different world music.
Right, but you could
Different.
just pick that up. Did you know it? I mean,
Yeah, I picked it up, because we rehearsed a few times before I did it. So
yeah.
but it was anything from Italian to Greek music to Russian music to everything.
That's awesome,
So-
man.
I learned how to. So that was fun.
Okay.
Christopher, I have to say, Chris, because for years he became a rock musician.
I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in like
and
a
that-
metal band, and then I was in another rock band that was less.
Well, you're playing with
You
the
know.
great Brian Easley.
Oh, Brian, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Brian was a friend of mine. We wrote some stuff together.
Right.
And that type of drumming is so different from what
what
we
ja-
do.
yeah.
Oh,
It's hard, it's heavy, it's
Yeah,
a
it's
lot.
loud.
It's loud, and so. But mention too that your friend Mike is into the Christian music.
Yeah,
now.
my friend Mike, who was in the last band with me, the McDonovan band, is doing a lot of Christian stuff at his church. So I'm going to get involved with him doing some of the Christian music.
which
Good
is
for you.
so
We wrote some
good.
Christian songs, and he wrote some, and I wrote some, and we're going to start recording and get him out there and just maybe play with him a little bit.
good for you
So
guys.
I want to
Yeah.
get into that because I'm really, I'm a Christian person.
Oh, I know that.
I'm really
Yeah.
into that. So.
I think that's really nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve is coming. Maryann, you and Ron and Chris, you guys have anything going on as far as
No.
playing or anything?
No. Yeah. Many of the music venues for New Year's are not really going this year. So it's kind of slow, but we never like doing New Year's. It's just not a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
So we keep quiet on New Year's. No.
I think New Year's Eve was fun when maybe I was 22 or
I
23.
know,
Yeah.
exactly. I said that the
and
other
we didn't
day.
have children to worry about and all that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
just go to a New Year's, it's
But
fun,
now
yeah.
it's kind of,
Yeah. Nah.
whatever. So,
No,
all right. Is there anything I know. If people want to follow you or find you, Maryann and Chris, where are they going to go on social media? I know they can find you as Grocery Cook,
Yeah,
right?
Instagram,
On
'cause
Instagram. And you're not doing Facebook anymore, right?
No, not now. We have a Facebook page for Nicola Strings. People can go on there. But,
Great.
And I'm on. I do have a Twitter account,
Okay.
but I think it's mainly just for the strings in it.
Yeah.
And then Grocery Cook on Instagram. Instagram's the one I do the most. Right?
And you're doing that just about, I don't know, seems more than once a week?
Well, I was
Random.
doing it No, I'm doing a little more whenever I find stuff. If I have more items during the week, I'll post a few more times of what I bought. But it's not only grocery. I'm adding some other stuff in there now. I put some of the music stuff I did, some of the personal stuff. Not all, and I got the recipes if I cook. If I cook, I'll put them up there.
And it's hashtag grocery cook, or they just put in grocery cook?
No, I think it's just Instagram.com, or just go to Instagram and type in my name or grocery cook.
Grocery cook, right.
Or Chris Sfarzo probably comes up.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And Maryann, what about you and Ron? If somebody wants to find out where you're going to be.
Forgot about Sfarzo.
SfarzoProduction.com, no S.
Okay.
So SfarzoProduction.com. They'll learn all about us there. We don't always have the private party things listed.
Correct.
So it'll talk about Cafe Trieste.
Yeah.
But that's about it there. Yeah. And it tells you what
Who
I
keeps
do.
that updated? Does Ron do that?
Well, both of us
Good.
kind of do. And we tend to not always update it as most people do because we
Yeah,
get busy, and
know.
so we don't always go in that direction. What I did want to mention when you asked me about my acting, because my claim to fame.
Oh yeah, you should mention that. This is a good one.
I did a commercial for Honda, and I was the mother of Antonio, and we spent hours in Oakland going back and forth on the bridge with this Honda commercial, and it was through Telemundo.
Oh, Telemundo is
Telemundo.
the Hispanic station?
Yeah, the
they
Hispanic
broadcast it on
station.
there.
Yeah,
Right.
because my agent is Gail Jones, which is Los Latinos. I pass for Spanish, and if you fit the part, that's what they give you.
So wait a minute. You were going back and forth on the bridge.
On the bridge because they were showing, it was so much fun.
Did they
So
shut
tiring.
the bridge down to do
Yes,
a commercial?
they did.
You're kidding.
They shut it down.
What time of day was that?
5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
5 to 6 in the morning.
Did they leave a lane open though, or I mean?
Not when they closed it down as they photoed, and then they opened it up again, and we had highway patrol following us the whole time.
And this is Honda.
Honda.
It has to be a bundle of money to do
It
something
was a
like
Honda
that, huh?
commercial.
Don't forget you're on a
Yeah.
billboard. You're
Oh,
a
and I was
billboard,
on a
too.
billboard, yeah.
On a
So then
billboard.
my husband goes, you're on a billboard. And so I call my agent and I said, did they tell you I was going to be on a billboard? She goes, you're on a billboard? You got to get paid for that.
Right.
Yeah.
What
Yeah, I
was
on
that a
billboard.
long time ago?
Probably about 4 years ago.
That's
4
all.
or 5
That's not that long ago.
Yeah,
No.
about 4 years ago.
And you were on
Yeah.
the poster in the store too. You went to buy a car, remember?
Oh yeah,
And
when
they-
I went to
you
buy
looked at the window and they go, "That's you in the window."
I love Hondas, and
That's you in the
I was
window.
right on the window.
That's a great story.
We told the
Yeah.
dealer, look.
Did
My
they
claim-
tell you how to dress for that, or did you?
They dress you.
They dress you.
They dress you. They have you bring clothes in. I just finished doing a print job for a retirement company. It's a retirement building in Santa Clara, over where the ballpark is.
Yeah.
It's called Ellore, Ellore, and it's going to open up in March. And so I was hired to go in, and they take photographs because now I'm a senior. When I started doing this, I was the mother of a 17-year-old. Now I'm the senior.
Yeah.
So there were seniors, and we're doing yoga, and we're at the spa. So I just finished that. I just did that about 2 weeks ago.
Good for you.
Yeah, it was a print. It's print, so you're going to see it on the internet and stuff.
And was that something you had to audition for, though, to get that?
You have to audition for all of it.
Everything.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, they want to see what you're like. They wanted people that had good smile, that's comfortable with the camera.
And you've been doing this for so long now. Are you
Yeah.
pretty comfortable when you go to these auditions?
I am.
You get a little bit of heebie-jeebie?
The problem now, since the pandemic, and Chris is my controller. He's my audio person. You have to do self auditions.
You got to do it at home. So you have to film everything.
Home. I have to film it at home.
Wow. And that's why you set up a little studio at home. I
Yeah.
mean, you do
Well,
have that.
he now for doing this part, yeah, that's for the audio part. But he actually films me, and so I'll have to do a slate. I'm Maryann Sfarzo. I'm how tall I am, where I live. They want to know something about you. They want to see what you look like.
So you could get dropped from the audition, but not even going there. In other words, right? They would.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks for
Right.
sending this in.
Right.
Okay, try again next time or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your first step is that they want to see you.
Yeah.
That's the first part. Our agent sends it in. With the other one, I did it my own. I sent it in. They liked what they saw. They called me back. We wanted to have you do this, this, and this. That's the second step. Third step, you got it. So You don't know. Its competition is great.
Yeah.
It's really big.
I bet.
Yeah.
Even with the seniors?
Even with the seniors. Yeah, because one of the things, I think for me, I'm tiny. I'm short. I'm short.
Yeah.
I'm tiny. I'm not really grandma looking.
Right.
So if they want a really grandma looking, it's not going to be mine.
It's not going to be Maryann.
Me. No.
Right.
If they're looking for a grandma that's more active and friendly,
Yeah.
then I get it.
Then you can fit
then
that.
I could fit that. So it depends who's looking at you and looking at what they see. Is that the one they want? So.
Chris, when you're filming Mom at home at the studio or at home, right?
Right.
What are you using to shoot her with? I mean, are you some kind of special camera, or are you just
No,
using
I'm
your
using the
iPhone 16 or
The
whatever
iPhone,
it is?
just use the iPhone.
Really?
It comes out pretty good, not bad.
Yeah.
Just record on there, and then you just download it.
And are you using the audio as well from the iPhone, or are you using different audio? Is Maryann on a different microphone, and you have to? No,
she just talks.
It's the iPhone, everything.
Yeah, she talks into the iPhone. Yeah.
But he is such a help to me.
Oh, I bet.
Because you have to download all of this stuff.
Correct.
Yeah, it's got to go on the
You
computer,
gotta
and they got
know
to send
how
it
to-
into people. So.
Yeah.
Gotta know what you're doing.
You have to know what you're doing, and we're learning. We've learned together. So he's big help to me with that.
Yeah.
I go, Chris, I have an audition.
Great.
Help
Yeah.
me.
No,
Yeah.
it's good. Yeah.
Any last minute goodies you want to mention that I missed or anything like that?
I don't think so. I think we've gone over
got
everything.
to.
It's
Thought
really
so,
a
yeah.
pleasure being
Yeah.
here. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's a pleasure.
It was
Mark.
my pleasure finding out
Thank
more
you.
and more about you guys.
It's a
been-
lot of fun.
Been great. Maryann and Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'd like to thank Maryann and Chris Sfarzo for being my guests today on Burlingame. It's a small town podcast sponsored by the Burlingame Historical Society. Thanks to my director of podcasts, Mike Nagler, my chief of marketing, Adrian Kwok Lundy Lucchese, original music by Bray, and you can hear more of Bray at braymusic.com. This podcast was recorded on Monday, December 30th, 2024, at the Burlingame Public Library. The Burlingame Historical Society copyrights this episode, and no part can be copied and replayed without the written consent of the Burlingame Historical Society. So until next time, everyone, see you around Burlingame. It's a small town.